Stadium Journey Podcast. Thanks for joining us tonight, or today, or whenever you happen to be watching. Our website, stadiumjourney.com, is the world's leader in sports travel information with reviews of over 2,500 stadiums from all around the world. And we are more than just an awesome website. Connect with us on our social media channels at Stadium Journey. Find audio versions of the Stadium Journey podcast by picking up your phone and searching HIAC Talk Radio Network wherever you look for your favorite podcasts. Video simulcasts of all of our podcasts can be found at Stadium Journey's YouTube page, and our classic back catalog of episodes can still be found at vocnation.com. And for those of you who want to be part of the live studio audience, we record live every other Tuesday night at 7 Eastern at danlaw.tv. We got the gang here all tonight. Gang all here. Gang's here. I don't know. Dave Cotty's here. Follow him online at ProFan9. Mark Viquez can be found on the internet at Ballpark Hunter. The other guy, Dan Calachico, is here too. You can follow him at DanLaw83. And my name is Paul Baker. You can follow me at PuckmanRI. So for those of you loyal listeners who've been listening to us for a while, you may remember way back in the day, we once did an episode that was focused only on stadium food. That was a pretty fun one, actually. Now, since we did the good, since now, we did the good, we talked about our favorite stuff. Now, we're going to look at the other side, the dark side. Come with us to the dark side. They have cookies there. It's time to talk about some of our worst experiences with food at the ballpark. And so, you might be saying, so what makes these four idiots experts on the subject? Well, for me personally, I worked in concessions for the Pawtucket Red Sox from 2001 to 2012, and also for the New England Patriots from 2003 to 2009. So if the show gets slow, I don't want to say dirt because there's no dirt in the food, but, we may talk about some stories. So I think it's safe to say that between the thousands of games and events that this panel has attended, I think we got our bases covered. So let's get started. Hey, and you know what? I want to start off. I put it out on Twitter for our listeners to share some of their bad food experiences. And one of the responses goes right for one of the most sacred food items of any sporting event. I'm talking about the Masters, and I'm talking about the pimento cheese sandwich. One of our, it's supposed to be legendary, right? Everybody's supposed to, when you go to the Masters, you got to get the pimento cheese sandwich. Our buddy Eddie Hoops has been to the Masters, and he says that is the most disgusting thing ever. In his
it sounds gross.
Yeah, pimento. Once you put a pimento in anything for me, I'm done. But this was his description of the pimento cheese sandwich. He says, and I quote, "It smells like puke, it looks like puke, and it tastes like puke." He says they make them early in the morning and store them out in the hot Georgia sun all day long. So it just turned into a big pile of mush, I guess.
Well, if that was on like a piece of protein, might be a little bit different. And you're right. If it's fresh, if it's just sitting there in the hot Georgia sun all day, yeah, it's going to probably taste like crap. Yeah, I'm with you there. I'm probably never going to go to the Masters. I know they'll never give us a press pass.
How can we do a review? They don't let you bring cameras.
They don't. It's like, I don't think they give anybody passes. I think it's a sacred place to go into. So I couldn't tell you, but if you just take, I assume the pimento cheese sandwich is just cheese on a bread, correct?
I think it's very simple ingredients. Yeah, the special pimento cheese.
I'm not a fan of pimento cheese to begin with, unless you have a little bit on it. Yeah, on like a chicken sandwich or a burger. But I'm looking at a picture right now. It looks like it's a lot of cheese.
Makes me think of the olive loaf. Any of you guys ever have the olive loaf processed meat?
I've had that, yes.
Oh, my wife loves it, and I'm like, oh, I can't stand that stuff.
No, I don't have it that often. I think I'd rather have that than the pimento cheese sandwich. This just tells you what I think about that. Yeah. Or what do you call that? Something head cheese, which is sort of like a meat as well. All sorts of gelatized meat and parts of the pig on a loaf.
Isn't head cheese brains?
No, well, it could be parts of brain. Well, I don't think they put parts of brains into the product I buy, but no, I think brains are brains. But yeah, look it up. Look up head cheese.
I'm typing it in right now. Keep talking.
I did, and I hate it.
Not that I've ever had that at a ballpark.
Yeah, I don't think that would be on many ballpark menus.
No.
Head,
I know
head cheese is brains.
Head cheese is very high in sodium.
Yeah. And I know in Evansville you could get a deep fried brain sandwich. Not at the ballpark at Bossy Field, but at a restaurant that's famous for it. Apparently they love it down there.
Why would you eat head cheese? This is disgusting.
Yeah,
And cheese
It's
is
all
dandruff.
different parts. It's all the leftover parts.
yeah. It's like fat,
Ground
the
together.
cheek,
Ugh.
yeah, the hat. Yeah, well, that's what do you think goes into your hot dogs?
Flesh from the head of a calf or a pig, or less commonly a sheep or cow, and often set in aspic. I don't even know what aspic is. The parts of the head used may vary, but the brain, eyes, and ears are usually removed.
Okay.
The tongue and sometimes even the feet and heart may be included.
Yeah. So yeah, you get all sorts of little bits and pieces, and
I didn't see any
Well-
cheese in there.
Well, thanks to those 3 people who showed up to watch and listen, and enjoy the rest of your evening.
head cheese. All
As
right.
you've
Okay.
bailed.
Yes. Well, you know what? I may just next year for the 2023 fan food vote have head cheese sandwiches at the ballpark.
Oh.
We'll see. We'll see if that makes a finalist anywhere.
Yeah, if you win, I'm not coming for that one. Sorry,
No,
man.
no, we're not going to have you throw the first pitch. We're banning you from the ballpark. Mark. Why,
We're banning
why would
from
you
this.
request such a hideous conception? Head cheese. Okay, enough with the head
All right,
cheese.
let's get on. Let's get focused.
Ballpark
And Dan,
food, stadium
Dan,
food.
I think this was your idea, this show. So, and you have a story you've been itching to tell. Do you want to lead us off with it?
Sure, because I can beat head cheese now.
You don't want to follow up that, Chief? I can
no.
joke a little bit with some stories.
No,
guys.
I can follow. Trust me. The picture for those who are watching on YouTube and the picture on the site, you can tell. No. This is the place I'm going to talk about. That is the picture that I have chosen this time for this episode. Philadelphia, the land of the cheesesteaks. And somehow, for years prior to the pandemic, the Wells Fargo Center screwed that up. Or should I say compost, or as I call it, compost. The most disgusting thing I've ever tasted, ever. And I've eaten a lot of crap, as you can see, especially at stadiums and arenas. My God, how can you screw up cheesesteaks in the city that it's about cheesesteaks? The most revolting thing ever eaten at the Wells Fargo Center. I think they're gone now, so I think our days are clear, going forward, sailing forward. But Compost has a name of great, like outside of the arena. Compost has a great name and a great reputation. To the point where I think I tried it 4 or 5 times before I gave up. I'm like, I'm going to go to the hockey game. I'm going to have a Compost cheesesteak. I'll try. This sucks. And then you go a year later, I'll try another one. After 5 times, I'm like, no, you know what? I'm not going to eat anything at all. I'm just going to get cheesesteak after this. It is disgusting. It was dry. There's barely any cheese on it. If you ordered it with onions, it would just fall. The perfect cheesesteak is something that is greasy and gooey, and that grease and goo holds that sucker together. So when you bite into it, the grease drips off, but the sandwich stays together. This thing went all over the place, and they don't give you a plate. They just give you the wrapping that it's in and that flimsy little cardboard box. You're supposed to sit at your seat, watch a hockey game, and not have that go all over the place. You look like a goddamn fool in the middle of this. Oh, God. It makes me so mad.
Bad
thinking about it.
memories.
It's just so terrible. I've never had a worse cheesesteak. And again, looking at me, I've had a lot of them. And this is the worst. Jersey Mike's makes a better cheesesteak than Compost in the Wells Fargo Center. Oh, God. Did you have one there before?
Is
Yeah,
the
same one.
Compost the place that runs the cheesesteaks at Citizens Bank Park too, or is that Tony Luke's?
That's Tony Luke's at the Citizens Bank Park.
Because I had one there, and I was going to say it wasn't that bad. It wasn't great.
No, Tony Luke's. The Tony Luke's at the stadium is well, it's fucking gourmet. I'm sorry, it's gourmet compared to. I'm not editing that out. Sorry, folks. It's gourmet compared to the Compost cheesesteak at Wells Fargo Center. I don't know. There's no excuse for as much as you're paying for food in an arena anyway. And I wasn't even mad for me. Like, I was mad that I was like, oh, this sucks. I don't why the heck. But you talk up that sandwich. All Philly people, me included, even you guys, even people who aren't from the city, talk up a cheesesteak sandwich when they're good. I called it a cheesesteak sandwich. Relax, everybody. They all talk up a cheesesteak. But you can't get it anywhere else if you go, unless there's a Philly-owned restaurant somewhere like in LA or down south or in the Midwest. I think
here
it's
in Indy. Yeah, we have
Penn's. What is it called?
Penn
Station. Penn Station.
Penn Station.
You get actual ingredients from the area. You're going to get a steak and cheese. You're not going to get a cheesesteak. There's a place up in Massachusetts called D'Angelo's. Old D'Angelo's.
Not many of them anymore. Most of them going out of business.
Well, I'll tell you why, because their sandwiches suck. But that's
I don't know. I always liked the number 9, but that was it.
Yeah, but if you go up there and get a cheesesteak, you're getting a steak and cheese. It's not the same. A steak and cheese is not the same as a cheesesteak. That is basically what you got at Compost at the Wells Fargo Center. You spent $8 to $11 on a steak and cheese in the city of cheesesteaks. It's
sacrilegious.
But then you get people traveling. You talk up this cheesesteak, how this is the greatest thing in the world. We're from Philly. This is what we eat. This is our staple. Blah, 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 blah. And then they walk in out of towners that are coming to see their team play the Flyers or their team play the Sixers. They go to Compost and they're like, this is it? This is what it is. This sucks.
No, that's disappointing. And there should be no reason for that because, if you have a cheesesteak sandwich in the Philadelphia, South Jersey area, it's unbelievable compared to what you have at a stadium. Now, there are a lot of stadiums who are making better products now. You're paying a little bit more for them. But I could assist. When I get my turn, I'll talk about something that I love that stadiums always ruin. But
go ahead. You got the floor.
Oh, I got the floor now.
Hold on. No, you don't. I just wanted to finish this off, and people think
Go
okay.
for it, Mark.
Real quick, because before we started that episode, you were like, "Are we going to get sued?" And I know you were kind of kidding, but I just wanted to verify that I looked it up yesterday and today just to feel better, to make sure I was not crazy. Cheesesteak at the Wells Fargo Center review of Compost Philly, 2 stars out of 5. Now, to be fair, a Compost deli on Market Street gets 5 stars.
All right, I was going to ask that. Is it better if you went to the restaurant as opposed to going to the stadium?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
You might be able to say that for a lot of the food we're going to talk about today, though.
How do you skimp on that at the arena?
And charge double.
And charge $8 to $11 for a smaller version, a smaller dry version of what? Listen, I'm going to finish it off by. I'm going to go ahead, Mark.
Is that all the time? How many times have you had the Compost cheesesteak to say, "Hey, this sucks. You can't make
5.
it right"?
5.
Okay, that's good. That's a good number.
That is dedication to the brand.
I said I tried it 5 times and I was like, no, I'm done.
Oh, okay.
Because again, I've had one outside, in the middle of the street. Yeah, I walked in the middle of the street eating the cheesesteak. No, but
might as well.
Out
I've
in the
seen people doing
wild.
that in Philly.
Yeah, that's true. But out in the wild, that restaurant's great. They don't make bad sandwiches at all. I just wanted to finish by saying this. Quote me on this. A cheesesteak's main ingredients is TLCS, tender, loving care, and sweat. Okay? The dude making it has to sweat on the grill and mix it in with the ingredients that are on that sandwich. Again, gooey, greasy. That's the adhesive. And this was the opposite of that. And again, every time I went there, blew my mind. Badass says, I'm forever searching for a good cheesesteak. Go to the city. The answer is go into the city.
Yeah,
go into the city. Go into the city, throw a dart, and go in that direction.
No comparison. Absolutely, as someone who's visited Philly and not a big fan of cheesesteaks, but when I go down there you go, Dan. I'm not getting cheesesteaks. I'm getting steak and cheese.
Yeah, it's not the same. And there's nothing wrong with the steak and cheese, but it's not the same. And Bad Ash, my last advice to you, if you want to do the tourist thing, go to Geno's and Pat's. My advice is to avoid Geno's and Pat's and go to like Mel's. Go down South Street and go to a random deli.
Yeah,
Anything.
Or a pizzeria that makes a cheesesteak.
Any sandwich shop in the city other than Pat's and Geno's. You can go to Pat's and Geno's, different experience.
What about Jim's?
That's my.
Would you go to
Jim's?
Jim's?
Is good. I'd go to Jim's.
Long lines though. But
I can't say the name of the place that used to. I can't. It used to be called the word. It's the guy. It was the person's name, and it's the. I can't say the word or even allude to it. They had to change his name, and I forgot what the name to. They made great Donkeys across the river in Camden.
A little different, but very good.
It's very good though.
Very good.
And if you go into Jersey or Philly and you go to a Jersey Mike's, delete my number from your phone.
I only go to Jersey Mike's because every birthday I get a free sub. And they're good for being out here, but yeah.
Yeah,
I was gonna ask you guys what you would recommend for cheesesteaks, being from the area.
There's a great place well, Jim's, Tony Luke's.
Those are my two.
Is Chick's open anymore? Lee's Hoagie House. There's a great place right over the bridge of Cherry Hill called Phil's Deli and Market, and I'm not just saying that because he's a friend.
The Reading Market has a good place.
Reading Terminal Market.
Reading Terminal.
Stuff,
love going to the Reading Terminal Market.
Oh, yes.
And roast. See, I like my cheesesteaks with broccoli rabe and provolone.
Oh, interesting.
Which some people say is the traditional way to eat it, but I don't know. Maybe that's from the old days.
I don't know. I go to Philly, I get a roast pork sandwich now. So, and I get the broccoli rabe and the provolone on it. Yeah,
no, and of course the roast pork sandwich is awesome. Philly's other famous.
Yeah, roast pork sandwiches is starting to kind of grow in popularity.
Yeah.
This reads these comments before we go to Mark. Bad Ash says small mom and pop food places are always better. May fail some health codes, but good food.
Absolutely, Bad Ash.
A lot of sweat.
Gregory, like I don't know any. Greg says, remember when John Kerry decided to order Swiss cheese on his cheesesteak, lost Pennsylvania, and the course of history was forever changed. The cafeteria at the county jail here got 3 stars on Google Maps. Apparently, they make a mean pepper steak on Thursdays, and this only gets 2.
I mean,
oh, it's just. Oh, God, if I wanted a steak, I'd order steak. You put it on a roll. So apparently, Compost and Rita's are out of the Wells Fargo Center as of last year. Good.
Oh, you don't like the frozen custard?
No, I love Rita's. I love Rita's, but I'm saying that Compost is out. Good. Bye.
That made Dan's day.
I'm done.
Delisandro's. You like Delisandro's?
Delisandro's. That's the other one I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, I have. That's the one everybody tells me I should go to. I haven't been there yet. That's Germantown, I believe.
Yes.
Or somewhere.
Go to it. Yeah.
Okay. I'll go there right now. Bye.
Oh, yeah, right now. Get out of here right now.
I stopped at Jersey Mike's on the way home, so I got a Jersey Mike's sub upstairs. I hope it's not a steak and cheese now.
What kind is it?
No.
The Jersey about Jersey Mike's. If you're in Jersey or Philly, there's no reason to go there. No. There's no reason.
That's like living up where I live here in New England and going to Red Lobster.
Or go to McDonald's to get the McLobster.
Yeah, exactly.
But where I live, it is the closest thing to a cheesesteak without going on the other side of it being a steak of cheese, right? They make it in the Jersey, Philly way as close as they can. Where Mark lives, same deal.
Yeah.
Jersey Mike's acceptable, but I swear to God, if I see one of my friends who live in Jersey or are revisiting family in Jersey and they're stopping at Jersey Mike's, I'm going to throw a heavy object at you. God damn it. Yes, that's a threat. I said it. For legal reasons, it's an anecdote.
All
right.
Well, all right, Mark. Why don't
all right, good night, everybody.
With a bad food take.
Bad food take.
Not a bad food take.
You know, when I go to ballparks and they say they have barbecue sandwiches or barbecue nachos, pulled pork, I have to look at it because a lot of times it comes from a plastic tube, and God only knows what kind of meat that is. That's been saturated in terrible barbecue sauce. But I went to a ballpark and I had their pulled pork nachos, and it was horrible. It was, I don't know if it came from a plastic tube. They said they made it there, but it was just saturated in barbecue sauce.
Might as well have been a plastic tube.
Yeah, exactly.
You were probably just eating almost straight barbecue sauce.
And I'm thinking to myself, oh my God, this is like the worst thing imaginable. And I was worried it was going to be like this. But this place also makes some cheesesteak nachos, which I should have got those, to be honest with you. Speaking of cheesesteak nachos, these are horrible. I was like, oh my God, I have to eat this. And it's like, you know, it's heavy barbecue sauce with God knows what kind of terrible ingredients in. But then again, I've been to some places where you had some really good barbecue. And, you know, if I'm in Memphis at a ballpark or Texas or St. Louis even, what's another good place? The Carolinas, I'm expecting some good barbecue if they serve it at the stadium. But here in Indiana, stay away from that because it looks good. It just doesn't taste good. So that's like the worst thing I can imagine getting is pulled pork nachos with that horrible saturated processed meat or whatever the heck's in there sitting on my nachos or ruining the flavor. Just give me the nachos with cheese and I'd be happy. That drives me crazy. That's the thing that bothers me because I love barbecue and I've been spoiled. I've been out to Kansas City. I've been out to Austin. And I've been to some of these other places that make it really well. And that's just such an insult. It's like, don't even advertise that you have pulled pork nachos because that's not what it is. But I think some people grow up on that stuff. They don't know better. Oh, hey, honey, you're an idiot. You want some pulled pork nachos? Yeah. Get the plastic tub out. Oh, boy. So, yeah. Yeah. That's the first thing, and I can tell you some other things. So I don't know what you guys feel about that.
That's what we're here for. So I don't know. You guys are too young to remember this, but I remember when I first started going to games at the tender young age of 7 or 8. It was in the 70s. I mean, ballpark food has exploded since then.
Just the
fancy food back then was hot dog, maybe a hamburger. Cheeseburger at a ball game was a treat because you were getting something big. Yeah. Sodas. I remember, and if anybody listening used to go to Fenway Park way back in the day, you will remember this. I tell people this now, and they look at me like I'm crazy. But it would come in little plastic cups covered in cellophane with, saran wrap over the top. You couldn't get bottles or cans of soda. It wasn't a nice fountain. So there was some guy in the back room taking a bottle of soda, pouring it into the little hundreds and hundreds of little plastic cups, and then sealing them with styrofoam. And the vendors would walk around with these trays of cups. Probably only cost a quarter back then.
Oh, yeah.
But you were getting
cheaper.
You were getting warm, flat soda. And I still remember that to this day as a kid. And I remember, having a hot dog. And a funny story one time, I used to, even as a young kid, I knew what I liked when I went to the ballpark. So I would always get to go to one Red Sox game every year for my birthday. So my birthday's in the summer. And I would beg my mom to get us seats over the top of the entryways, the vomitories. So that way there would never be anybody in front of me. Okay, made sense, right? Little kid, people stand up, you can't see anything. So, but one day I was eating a hot dog, and as a 7, 8, 9-year-old kid, what did you put on a hot dog? 1.5 pounds of ketchup, right?
Right.
So one time I was eating my hot dog, and what happened? The hot dog went out the other end of the bun. And I was sitting on the edge, so it went over the side. And unfortunately, some poor lady was walking up into the seating area just as my hot dog was falling over.
Did you kill this poor lady?
I gave her a total ketchup bomb. So she just had a head full of ketchup. But that's not bad. That's not a bad food story, but a bad experience, I guess.
No, it's a great food story. She's alive, right?
I don't know. I was 9, so I hid.
No, I mean she lived then, is what I'm saying.
I'm hoping so.
Then
I didn't kill her. I just think it was like one of those things. Now she's got a head full of ketchup. That was like the second most traumatic thing that ever happened to me in a ballpark. Second to the trough you had to pee in.
Oh God, yeah, that's
As a young boy surrounded by all these old guys. It was not fun. Can I go in the stall, Daddy? Well, my dad never took me to a game, so I wouldn't ask him. Anyway, we're on the subject of hot dogs. We were at a game one time, my wife and I, and we were at a place that only took cash, and we only had about $6 or $7 between the two of us. Luckily, it was a small place, so we were able to get 2 hot dogs and 2 sodas. So I went, I got everything, paid for it, turned around. Pam was already finished with her hot dog, and I said, "You ate that awfully fast." And her response to me was, "I had to eat it fast. It was so terrible, I couldn't stand looking at it."
Jesus.
That's how hungry she was and how bad the hot dog was. Just, as an example of an undercooked hot dog, I guess.
Ooh, no. Nope.
Yeah, when I asked on Twitter for some of our listeners' bad food stories, they got a lot of undercooked food stories. And
Yeah. No,
as someone who's worked in concessions, yeah, that happens. It does.
well, that and then like you think about the hot dogs. You could go to some places and the hot dogs are amazing. Like when I went to Minnesota and went to those small ballparks and ballparks in Chaska and Meesville, they had some of the best hot dogs and they had some of the best brats because they were locally made from some butcher in town and they were grilled. I hate when they boil a hot dog. I hate when they use the cheapest quality chicken, pork, beef hot dogs and they boil them and the bun's cold.
Or worse, when it's been sitting in the warmer under the lights, under the heat lamps for a couple hours. And so now the bun is turned into a rock.
Yeah. Yeah. and I know some places, like it's funny I always try to grab a hot dog at a stadium, but sometimes you ask, hey, how are you cooking your hot dog? Well, if they're boiling it or it's been sitting under a lamp for a few hours because there's not a lot of people there. Yeah, no pass. I'll get something later. But yeah, a hot dog. I mean, I like when it's grilled. I like when it's steamed or fried. And the bun's a little toasted or a little steamed, but yeah, that could get messed up too. And then you're like, oh, what did I just eat?
And even worse, Mark, is when a place is doing a promotion like a quarter hot dog night or a 10-cent hot dog night, because you're not a little secret here. The regular hot dogs, I'm going to take McCoy Stadium, for example. They were what we would call 4-1, not 4-1, because that would be a quarter pound, like 10-1. So like 10 hot dogs made a pound. Those were your regular hot dogs. When you were doing the special night, like quarter hot dogs or other places, they would be like 25-1. So you were getting like this little teeny tiny thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, our buddy Michael Harris said one of the worst hot dogs he ever had at the ballpark was on a 10-cent hot dog night.
Yeah. So. No, I remember going up to C.L. Brown Stadium in Battle Creek. They were grilling the hot dogs. And they were tasty, and they were like 10-cent hot dogs that night. But when Victory Field here in Indianapolis does their dollar hot dogs, you can tell you're not getting, you can tell you're getting what you paid for. So,
yep.
And then,
yeah. Some of the most legendary food items are hot dogs at ballparks. Like in Boston, the Fenway Frank is legendary, and everybody says they're fantastic. You got to have them. If I never eat another Fenway Frank in my life, I'll be okay with that.
Well, what makes a Fenway Frank? Is it specially made?
Special spice mix that goes in with the pork and the veal. At the ballpark, I don't know. It's for the reasons you said. Being boiled, sitting out for a while.
Oh, I hate boiled.
If you get one and put it on the grill and you cook it up, it'll be fantastic.
Yes.
But at the ballpark, and especially at the ballpark for $4.50 or whatever they go for nowadays.
Oh, well, I was at a Purdue baseball game this week and they were charging $5. Like, dang, $5.
And the same goes for the Dodger dog. Very overrated, in my opinion.
Yeah, I haven't had that one.
And I went to a game in Oklahoma City one time, and I hadn't been to Dodger Stadium yet. So I was like, all right, they've got Dodger dogs here. It's a Dodgers affiliate. So I went to the guy and asked him about the Dodger dogs. He says, no, they're not Dodger dogs. We just say they are. So if you're in Oklahoma City, you're getting a counterfeit Dodger dog, man.
That's good to know. I wonder what they're trying to pass off as a Dodger dog.
Yeah, I don't know what makes the Dodger dog a Dodger dog, but it's not a Dodger dog in Oklahoma City.
Oh, okay. So any other bad food experiences?
Let me see what I got here.
Ever been sick?
Me? Well, I've been sick.
Like after eating at a ballpark and you just had like a bad case of food poisoning.
New Jersey. In New Jersey.
In New Jersey. Oh, thank you, Dave, for joining us. I'm glad you're complimenting the great state of New Jersey.
No, actually,
where were you?
wife-
Devil's game?
no, that was where my daughter got sick. It was at the Devil's game.
God, it's
on the
collection
my
of
kids
sickness.
dehydrated at a game in New Hampshire one time.
on the brand spanking new floor of the Prudential Center.
Oh,
Walked
That's
out
more
in the
than it
hall and-
deserves. That's more than it deserves. So you're
do
good.
not mock the arena. We just need a goal and some defense.
For me,
Arena.
it was the next night at the Izod Center. that I
Oh,
got
well, there you
sick,
go.
so.
There you go.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Eyes
Is that mall still there that they never finished?
Barely. That thing is losing money by the minute. They just lost probably like $1 million since we started this podcast.
Who builds a mall nowadays?
Well,
An
when they
idiot who
built
lost
it,
millions of dollars.
oh, well, they started that like 20 years ago. That's the problem.
yeah, it's been a long time, and it's
It sure
been through
has.
4 different owners and 4 different usage, and it never
it's
got
supposed to-
finished. And it's
It's supposed to be called Xanadu, and then like some of the designs are outdated. And
I'm telling you, that name Xanadu's cursed. And stop it, Paul.
Love that movie.
who
No,
doesn't?
why? I
Wow.
don't. It's a piece of crap.
No, it's
Olivia
not.
Newton-John and ELO, man. Love it.
Yeah, great music.
It's cheese-tastic. It's a
And,
horrible movie,
and
but I
Gene
love it.
Kelly dancing. You know, his
But you know
last-
what was terrible? The Broadway play of Xanadu.
yeah,
Yes, I went and
I can
saw
see
it.
that.
It was
I would.
awful.
Hey, I thought about seeing that too when the wife and I were in New York a few years back. It was either
Everything
that
else
or
you say is suspect now.
the Bring It On, but we couldn't get tickets. So
One time I went to a Lehigh Valley Iron Pigs game and someone crapped their pants and tried to flush them down the toilet with predictable results. But I don't know if it was from the food. I just had to look at the toilet after. That's from Greg.
Gregory has loved this topic because he blew up my Twitter account with all kinds of stories. Let's see.
I had a Dodger dog. Bad Ashes had a Dodger dog. It was a hot dog, nothing special.
Yeah,
Thank you,
I'm with you on that one. I had a Dodger dog. I was like, really? This was, and I avoid hot dogs because I don't know. I'm not jazzed
Alright,
about hot dogs.
So, we're all Stadium Journey writers, and when we do a reviews of places, one of our 7 categories is food. I'm going to be honest with you all out there. I barely ever eat the food when I go to a ballpark or a hockey arena or whatever. And
I haven't in years, Paul. It's literally been 10 years,
Yeah.
maybe a little less.
Am
I don't eat. I don't bother spending the money now. Nope.
Am I a bad Stadium Journey writer, or am I just smart?
No, you're frugal because they charge way too much for crap food.
Well, that's one of the reasons, the price. Another is the quality. I mean, while there is some fantastic food, I'm going to say that, and it's getting better all the time. Dave, you
oh
missed
yeah, the
my
food's outrageous.
story
Food's
about back in the day.
All right, Paul
Um,
McCartney.
yeah,
but-
I was
really- all right,
listening.
But yeah, I'd rather go to a local place that I've always wanted to try and spend the same amount of money and get a whole meal.
That's the thing. Even if you don't go to a cheesesteak place in Jersey, in Philly, Chicky and Pete's is a block and a half less right away from the arena. Why would you eat? Why would you buy the food at the arena? And
Well,
pay twice as much.
See,
crab price.
You see, with me, I don't like the prices at the arena, so I'd rather wait. Now there's some
Okay.
places, there's some places you go. Like when I went to the Purdue game, the food was a little bit high and it wasn't anything exciting, so I waited to get something afterwards at Dog and Suds because I don't go to Dog and Suds too often. Nice little thing, but I could tell you, I got sick one time at an arena. It's when I was reviewing the Cincinnati Cyclones, and they had a PR director and broadcast named Everett Fitzhugh, who's now the play-by-play broadcaster for the Seattle Kraken.
Bless you.
And he's like, "Welcome to the Cincinnati Gardens or the U.S. Bank Arena, whatever it was called at the time." And he's like, "We have Cincinnati chili for you in the press room. Help yourself. Make conies. Make 3-ways, which is pasta with chili and cheese."
In the
And I'm
press
like,
box.
"Oh." In the not the press box, the press the press area where you eat. So, that arena. Talk about their press box. It was like a couple of like black pieces of wood that they stuck up on old seats, and they called it the press box. Anyway, I go in there and I'm like, "Oh, Cincinnati chili. Let me make a coney. Let me make a 3-way." Oh my God! I had to stop so many times on that way home back to Indianapolis that night. Oh, I never wanted to eat Cincinnati-style chili again. Everett, you made me sick. God bless you. And you're in Seattle. Kick some ass. But, ooh, I bet you don't miss the Cincinnati-style chili. And it's because of you. I don't eat it anymore. That was like the last time I had it. You know, when I have friends, I go, hey, let's go get some Skyline chili. Heck no.
I'm okay with Skyline chili.
Oh.
Never had it.
Yeah.
Dave, I'm
'cause
sorry. You were saying something and I hijacked the thread, so go ahead, man.
yes, we did.
It's
We're
a
proud of
condiment. Yeah, no, I
That's a good take right there. Chili,
What?
not a meal, a condiment.
it's yeah. Well, Cincinnati chili is a condiment for sure.
Yeah.
Totally. You don't just have a
That's
big
routine.
bowl of chili by itself.
No, you have to pour on. You have to pour on crap.
I don't know. I'm kind of with you, Paul. I guess one of the big challenges of being a writer is how is it even possible to rate both the neighborhood and the food on the same visit, right? Like
It's hard.
you're not
You're right.
going out and eating before and after, or before or after, and at the ballpark or at the.
You haven't seen the average weight of the Stadium Journey writers, have you?
No. Wrigleyville.
If you're watching
I
YouTube,
don't know. I get there are some bad food spots in Canadian University. I remember I was on the podcast with Jim Mullen and the Canadian University football podcast, and one of the questions they asked me is, where was the best food? And I was like, oh man, it's all bad. Well, it's not. I mean, it's not all bad, but it's pretty basic.
Yeah, that'd
Like,
be
if
the
you
better
go to-
word. Basic, not bad.
If you go to see like the University of Toronto hockey team, you can bring a quarter or two and get some gumballs that are probably turn of the century, like in those red hockey arena little vending machine things. They always have the gumballs turn over. Okay, there's sometimes there's peanuts. I'm like, who ever puts in a quarter for the peanuts? Or there's like the poor sad student who's working the popcorn machine, and like that's it, right? So I can't say I've had too many bad food experiences. I guess one would be in all places in Pittsburgh, and in all places at Pimento Brothers, and this was a lesson to me. So we went to Pimento Brothers, and I want to say it was at Heinz Field, and I was with a friend who had never been before, and I was like, oh yeah, this is it. You gotta do Pimento Brothers, right? And we got the Pittsburgher, right, at Pimento Brothers. And it taught me such a huge lesson, which was like, when you find something good, you just stick with it.
That's
not that it was horrible, but it was
Too much stuff?
it was just not the capicola and cheese.
Right.
Like, it was not even close. And I was like, this is not that great, right? So yeah, I have not had
cola and cheese.
I have not had the Pittsburgher. I actually, to be fair, I've been to Pimento Brothers, probably 20 to 25 times since then, and I've never had anything but the capicola cheese.
Badass says, as someone who goes to Reds and Bengals games, you don't buy the Cincy chili. You rent it for a couple of hours.
This is the truth.
Ugh. You're muted. Oh, okay.
But yeah, Dodger dogs. I had one on principle because it's Dodger Stadium.
That's how it
Dodger
came up.
dog.
Yeah, that's how it came up. Yeah,
Meh. I don't know.
So the trend now is away from the basic stuff, and when we're talking about bad food, we're not talking about you go to a small place and they don't have the capability to make much more than just hot dog snacks. So that's what you expect, and it's good for a snack, and it'll fill the hole till after the game when you go somewhere real. But some places now are just going like crazy with portion sizes and prices and ingredients. Like you go to Arizona, Chase Field, you get a hot dog, you can spend $25 and get like a 6-foot long hot dog or something like that with all kinds of crap on it. This a good trend or a bad trend?
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand people. You understand people. You're a psychologist, I guess.
That doesn't mean I understand them.
I don't understand, and especially in the NFL, I don't understand going to an NFL game. And maybe this is why people in Buffalo are smarter than everybody else. Going to an NFL game, you're paying like $100 a ticket at least, maybe more.
Yeah.
And then you're paying like $15 a beer at 10 to 12 beers in a game. And
I think now it's like 14, 15 minimum. You might even be paying $20 a beer.
I don't know. We were just at the Jays game, and the prices are like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had some Mary Brown's. We had a Mary Brown's, which is like it's actually a Newfie fried chicken chain. So it's one of the few things that have come out of Newfoundland that I know of, and has really kind of stuck and moved westward. So Mary Brown's is now at the Rogers Center. This is sort of a big deal, I guess. I don't know. So we got some Mary Brown's, like a chicken sandwich and tater tots and a water cost me like $25. And there was no maitre d' or like linen napkins or anything like that. Like, holy moly. And now with the because almost everywhere it's either cashless or almost cashless. Like every time you put your card down, they're asking about a tip. Like, seriously? And of course,
don't be skimpy. Don't skimp.
15%. Well, hang on a second. How is somebody behind the counter of my $25 meal like 15%?
They turned around, took it out of the warmer. They turned around, took it out of the warmer.
Yeah. No. If someone's serving it to you, yeah. But yeah, not just going like that.
I remember the amount of tips that the girls at McCoy would take home every game.
I wonder why.
Yeah, and us guys in the back are doing all the work, sweating our asses off and making less money. So
you weren't wearing short enough shorts, Paul.
You didn't have the universal pot kind of thing, or where all the tips
and I tried to get that to happen, and I argued, and nope. Paw Sox management didn't want any part of that. They didn't want to be. So, nope. When I used to run the smaller barbecue stands, we would just throw it all in and split it evenly, but not in the big stands.
And that's when you get someone who comes back and complains about the concessions. You say to the girl, "Sorry, it's on you.
You go deal with it.
I don't care how bad it was."
Yeah, when I was the manager, you go deal with it. You're making more than me. Hey, you know what? And bad food experiences are not limited to this side of the Atlantic Ocean. Our buddy Brett Marr, I was talking about meat pies because one night I guess I got a meat pie, and he kind of chimed in. I didn't get it at a ballpark. I just got it at a local place. So I had, hey, do they sell meat pies over there? And are they the same and everything? And he said, you know what? Meat pies are sold in the stadiums there. It's a very popular concession item. And he said that he has never found a good one in any English soccer stadium. And he's tried them all, he says. I can't imagine eating a meat pie at a game.
It seems a little involved.
I mean, that goes for a lot of we were just talking about like the fancier foods, and I feel that way about chicken wings. I wouldn't order chicken wings if I'm sitting in my seat. Mm-hmm. Anything you need silverware for, or it's involved. When you're at your seat, you want something easy. You got the beer in this hand or the drink. I got a hot dog or a hamburger, something I can hold. Maybe nachos. Nachos is about as big as I would go in my seat. Maybe if I'm sitting down somewhere in the ballpark, it would be different. But
yeah, see now there's a consistently bad item, like just the regular nachos, with the bag-o cheese, or the cup, which basically they just put the cheese cup or whatever under the heat lamp, and that's one that I really try and steer clear of. But I'm with you. I don't eat a lot. My theory is like I could eat at this ballpark, or I could come back for another game the next day, pay the same price. But that's kind of my take on it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. So
Depends on what we're doing. If we're like with the whole family and it's like, we're buzzing around all over the place, and then, well, what's our dinner plan? And you're looking at the clock and, well, wait a second. We're not going to have time to stop and eat at a place. Then you just like, oh, well, we'll go and eat at the ballpark. But even if I'm eating at the ballpark, I want to be there kind of when the gates open, and I want to go.
Yeah.
I want to go like kind of eat early before anything. I definitely don't want to like step out and go stand in line for 2 innings or a half a period or whatever. And I think the quality is probably a little better, the earlier you're getting it.
Yeah, you're talking about the price too, and I gotta say, I've been and I hope nobody from the Providence Bruins is listening to this. I've been a season ticket holder for most of the 30 years that they've been a team, and I learned very early on, especially carting 2 young kids into the arena every Friday and Saturday. It got pretty expensive. So I learned very early on, and my kids were taught very early on how to smuggle snacks into the stadium. So even my kids, when they're just 3 or 4, it was easy when they had diaper bags. But then when they were 3 or 4, my daughter was a master of taking a thing of Reese's peanut butter cup, sliding it right up her sleeve, and just walking in.
Movie theaters, I do that for.
Yep. And
Dude,
we figured.
Go ahead.
Yeah, and that tradition continues to this day. Pam and I will sneak our drinks and our snacks in every day, and they all know us, so they don't check us or anything. And we figure,
not so fast, Mister.
You get a soda, and you just say you bring in a soda and a candy bar. You spent under $4 for that. The soda alone at the Dunk is $5. You want to get a candy bar, you're talking another $4, so that's $9. So we're saving $5 a piece every game. Multiply that by the 25 games or so we go to every year. Multiply that by 30 years. I have paid for at least 2 or 3 seasons worth of tickets by sneaking my snacks in.
Yeah, makes sense. I know when I lived in Cincinnati, my ex-girlfriend, since we have to talk about ex-girlfriend, she was shocked how much a bottle of Pepsi was. And I think it was $3 at the time. This was 2003. And I looked at her and I said, well, yeah, you're at a ballpark. What are you expecting to pay, $1? It was livid. So I laugh at that because how much is a bottle of soda at a major league ballpark now? Probably double.
5, at least.
5. Yeah, it's I just don't drink. I'm not paying $5 for a soda or $10 for a beer, especially.
You know what you do? You get a souvenir soda that you can get refilled throughout the game.
Yeah. Oh,
my record is 4.
There you go.
By the 3rd one, I was drinking just water.
Or the DUI. Some places have a DUI. Okay, go ahead, Dave.
That must have been at a place without the troughs, right?
Yeah.
All those souvenir sodas.
Fenway got rid of the troughs a while ago.
Actually, the killer is the bottles of water, right? Like, which are stupid, ridiculous in a corner store at like $2 or whatever. They're I love telling my students that what do you think costs more, water or gas? Oh, gas does. Really? Do the math. No, it's bottled water.
At Gillette, when I left, and I left there in like 2007, they were like, if you got the big one, I think it was like $7.50.
Mm-hmm. Oh, but I mean, there's a lot of ballparks that are charging a little bit less for food, like the Savannah Bananas. They have an all you can eat with your ticket. I think the tickets are $25, but it's all you can eat, and sodas. So.
See, I get an all I can eat. I got to make sure I get my money's worth out of it. Though, so that's not a good thing.
Well, see, that's the problem. Then I go home looking for the Pepto-Bismol.
Yeah, what is it that you're eating all you can eat? Like popcorn and dogs and soda?
Fried bologna.
How much sodium are you stuffing in your face? So
hey, Gregory Koch sent us something in the chat here.
That's awesome.
He was talking about Boogs at Camden Yards.
Boogs?
Said they got rid of their wonderful sauce bar. I love Boogs. I used to love Boogs. Put it that way. 23 wonderful different sauces and some absurd number like that. And instead, now they just give out Heinz barbecue sauce.
Oh, really? Book Pal used to cook out there. And now
Well-
they'll give me a Heinz barbecue sauce?
Yeah, Gregory said the change was because of the COVID precautions, but he says
Never.
hopefully it comes back.
No. High fructose corn syrup has no business in my barbecue sauce. Get it out of here. I would throw that at the person who served me that.
Gregory also talked a little bit about fun times he's had with not t-shirt cannons, but t-shirt cannons where they're shooting food into the crowd.
No.
He said he was at a Potomac Nationals game one time, and they were advertising shooting burritos into the crowd, and he caught one, and instead of it being a nice, delicious burrito, he opened it up. It was a coupon to a local restaurant that for burritos.
Well, yeah.
That was probably better. Like,
yeah.
let's think about that for a second. It's probably better.
Might have dodged a bullet there.
Well, I was reading Greg's his preview of a Maryland Bobcats soccer game, and he was saying how there was no food there; it was just beer because the food truck didn't come.
Yeah.
And they said, "Well, sometimes the food truck comes, sometimes it doesn't." So the only thing they had there to drink or eat was beer, which he said was reasonably priced. But if you don't drink beer,
right? What if you brought you there with your kids?
If you're there with your kids or you're there with an empty stomach, you're not getting home. You're calling an Uber. That's a great story. And that's why I love Stadium Journey, those type of stories there. But I've never heard that, a place that just had beer.
Priorities, man. Priorities.
Yeah, the food truck. Sometimes it's here, sometimes it's not. And I've heard that story before too. I was at I was up in Detroit at an Ultimate Disc game, and they only had chips, like bags of Frito chips and water. And I said, "Yeah, usually we have the Detroit Coney dog truck that comes out here, but we don't know where they are today. We don't know. We can't contact anybody." So that's the worst. It's one thing to get bad food. It's worse when you're hungry and there's no food. And I don't know, has that happened? You've been to an event and there's just nothing there, and you're like, "Really? This is it? Candy?"
Yep.
Real quick, Zachary Beeson over at YouTube just said, been to over 100 baseball stadiums. Dogs are far and away the worst hot dog in baseball. That's from Zach.
Zach out of Richmond, Indiana, I think. He and I talk a lot on Twitter. Good that
What's
you're
his
watching.
Address and what's his address? Where does he live while you're at it?
I actually
White House. Picket fence.
I actually do have his address because I sent him some stickers a few weeks ago.
Hey, if any of our listeners would like
Zach.
the Stadium Journey stickers, let us know. Stickers that look like this way.
No, you should. You'd be surprised how many people like that.
I have sent some out. So if you would like one of these, give us your address in the chat or message one of us on Twitter, Facebook, whatever, privately.
And you'll cover the postage, or is it self-addressed?
Sure, I'll send them out.
Yeah.
Do you know what? Back on hot dogs. Not entirely stadium related, but a very disappointing hot dog experience was the first time my wife and I went to New York City, and she was like, "We got to go to Central Park, and we got to have a hot dog at Central Park."
Really?
And it
could be good. Could be good.
It was boiled.
Yeah, that's.
Well, yeah, and those carts they have to keep them warm all day. Yeah,
they were gross.
Gray's papayas.
Which is weird because you go outside of Central Park and you smell all the carts, like you smell the charcoal, right? But then you go to Central Park and it was all like, I don't know. We did it because New York tourists.
There you go. Sometimes you got to do the stuff, right?
Yep. Stupid Canadians.
Grow up in New Jersey. My mom would always tell us, eat before you go into New York, because New York's expensive. And that was just ingrained in our head. So when my wife came out with me for the first time to New York City, she wanted to go to Bobby Flay's Flavor Town.
That's your wife, not a girlfriend, right?
Yes, my wife. I had to think about it. I think we were married. Yeah, it was my wife.
I am so glad Denise does not listen to this.
Yeah, me too. The current woman I share a bed with for now. But yeah, she wanted to go to Bobby Flay's Flavor Town. And I said, "No, we have to go to a New Jersey diner and eat. Why do you want to go to New York?" So thought that was fun.
Joycey, Danny, what's wrong with Guy Fieri? There is no Guy Fieri slander in this room.
Flavor Town.
Flavor Town. I love that guy.
I got nothing against him, but
God gives back to his community. I can't stand watching him eat, but there by the grace of God go I.
I mean, he doesn't do it for me like Giada, but that's
true.
I'm over that.
His wife's a Rhode Islander.
Yeah, she is. You're right.
All right,
Okay.
have we
I like Adam
exhausted
Richmond
our...
better.
Awkward
than
pause,
Guy Fieri.
awkward pause, awkward pause. Okay, well, we must have had some other terrible foods at a stadium besides cheesesteaks and boiled hot dogs. And
I know I have eaten too many nacho helmets in my day.
There is no such thing as too many nacho helmets. You take that back.
nachos.
Oh, maybe when I was in my 30s or something. But
Greg
Yeah.
Koch says raw chicken tenders at RFK Stadium. I'm surprised that you had the balls to eat anything at RFK Stadium.
yeah.
All
you
those old
survived.
places, man.
I survived
I can't
RFK food.
Yeah, I can't believe you had the balls to go inside RFK Stadium.
I've been there.
Well, and you made it out alive, so
I did.
I mean,
that'll be a fun episode to do one time soon. The cluster F that is Dan Snyder and the Washington, whatever the hell they're called this week.
Yeah,
that would require a full on documentary or something.
That'd be something
going on there.
I don't know. I don't know if I have a say in the comings and goings of Dan Snyder, but
Yeah, I have to say.
I don't know. I'm just thinking
RFK Stadium was DC United by that point. Well, that means nobody was actually working there cooking the food. That's your fault.
Yeah.
That means
No,
you got
was-
like not only was it raw, it was probably 5 years old.
Just
Yeah,
as long
it's
as it
just
didn't
probably
say
sitting
like, so long as the chicken or the hot dogs or anything didn't say like locally grown, then there's a chance that it's not a rat.
Yeah. Well, and I can tell you some other experiences. I know the Indianapolis Indians used to they serve like chicken tenders, and they had like a sauce bar. I don't think they have it anymore, but people would just pump their sauces onto the chicken. Of course, that would splatter everywhere and make a hot mess, and nobody would really clean that up until the end. So that really wasn't appealing. Or when they say, hey, put the relish and the onions and the mustard on your hot dogs over there, and that's a hot mess.
Anywhere you go that has the condiment bars and not just the
condiment bars. So those things kind of.
I hate the little packs. Oh gosh,
I do too. But when you look at somebody, and as someone who's had to clean up condiment bars,
yes,
many times, I like the packets better.
Yeah, it's there's a reason for it. And of course, when we had COVID, all that stuff just disappeared. Right. It may come back. Yeah. It may come back, but
COVID's coming back, so why not?
Let's hope not.
I mean, it's coming back.
It's coming back.
Hey, we got an outbreak where I work right now.
It never left. It's people being stupid. At this point, it's just being people.
You're mixing politics with my sports. I didn't want to listen to
politics. It's not politics. If you put a pandemic into politics, you're a moron. Don't listen to my show.
Goes. Here we go.
The sauce bar.
Mark found a button tonight.
I'm with Dan.
The sauce bar is. I'm trying to change the subject. The sauce bar is still in Indianapolis as of last Tuesday.
Oh, really? Is that from Zach?
That's from Zach. Yeah, that's from Zach, who lives in where? No, I'm just kidding. Don't say
Richmond, Virginia.
No, there you go. Yeah. Someone did that the other night on the stream. Somebody came into the chat. A friend of mine purposely said something dirty, and then he had just, privately told us he got a promotion where he was. And my friend on stream just happens to go, "Hey, congratulations at the promotion at blah 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 school." And I'm like, "Oh my god!" Oh, I had to delete the comment. I deleted the stream. I was like, "We just lost all of it." Thank you, appreciate that.
So the sauce bar is at. So I'll have something to look forward to when I go to a Victory Field game. Which I love Victory Field, but sometimes some stuff makes me kind of sick.
I'm gonna say this,
like my weight.
Yeah, right. I know everybody else is fatter than me. I'm gonna say this for Badass because she's tried to tell it No, you're not. Tried to tell it 3 times, and if I don't, I'm never gonna hear the end of it. The Rookie Cookie Fry Box, a decadent of boat French fries, yes, French fries, smothered in chocolate sauce, caramel sauce, crumbled Oreos, bits of chocolate chip cookies, and miniature marshmallows. Where is that?
That's like evil poutine.
Evil poutine.
Where would you get that?
That just reminded me of like the one bad food story I could think of before this, and then I totally missed it. So in Buffalo,
that we can help.
Pizza logs are like a thing, right?
Really?
It's basically like like I don't know, like apple, like you know, like
Finger
those
foods.
apple pie that you get at McDonald's, like the deep fried dough, right? But with pizza stuff in it.
Sounds good.
Not quite, not like egg rolls exactly, but kind of like egg rolls.
Yeah, I'm looking at a picture here.
So they got pizza logs, but then they also got apple logs, right? So the pizza logs come with marinara, the apple logs come with caramel sauce. So we're at the Bison's game.
Oh,
Jackson
the wackiness
says-
will happen.
Oh no!
Jackson says, "Hey, can I have some apple logs?" Sure, no problem. Get the
And
ask them
By
for
the way,
apple logs. Great apple logs. Here we go. Open up the little caramel dunk it. Jackson takes a log, dunks it in, bites it. Pizza log in the caramel.
And caramel. Was it good?
No.
No.
I think he's kept eating it anyway. Although now that
Oh, he was a
he's
kid.
older and more mature, he claims that he did not keep eating. But yeah, that was pretty nasty.
He didn't know.
Not that the pizza logs are bad in and of themselves, but pizza logs and caramel sauce, not so stellar.
By the way, to finish this out, Badass says you can get the rookie cookie fry box at Reds games.
Okay.
Really?
All right. Yes.
The Reds have some interesting. Like they have
The Reds are not. Reds fans are not going to like the show. We talk bad about Skyline Chili. Now the
Well,
cookie.
I like
Wait till they hear
Skyline
what I
Chili.
say
You know
about
what?
the river.
You know what? I talked bad about Skyline. I did not talk bad about Gold Star or Camp Washington or Empress.
Right? See? Wait till they hear what they have
Yeah,
to
you
say
didn't-
about the river.
You didn't say bad things about those because you said you gave up on Cincinnati chili altogether. So you probably
Yeah.
haven't eaten there.
Yeah, see, that's the thing in Indianapolis. The only place you can get it is at a Skyline. There's not any local proprietor or anybody else who is, expanded out here. So, and when I go to Cincinnati, I do go to some places that I like to eat, but it's not going to be Cincinnati chili. And it's all because of that guy over with the Cyclones, Mr. Everett Fitzhugh. So thank you, Everett. Hope you're having fun in Seattle.
Got Mark name dropping all over the place.
Name
All right.
dropping. He was a great guy. He was a good guy. He deserved. He's a trendsetter. So love to have him on here to talk about that one day. But that's another story. So
Join us another time for Press Box Food Stories.
Press
We can
Box
do
Food
part
Story.
2. Apparently, we can keep going with this.
Remember when I shat my pants in Batesville because of your food? Okay, go ahead.
And that's where we're going to wrap up today's conversation.
I can't make it back home. Okay, yeah. Well, you talked about bad food. I mean, come on.
Yeah,
Bad
that's
food gives you
that's
bad
the
stomachache.
the predictable outcome of bad food.
I know.
I will wrap us up with not a bad story about bad food, but a kind of a funny story from my days in the McCoy Stadium concessions. So McCoy, at one point, McCoy was known even at their heyday for just having kind of a basic menu. We didn't have anything fancy there. Not where they were never trendsetters or anything like that. But one time they decided we're going to get fancy at McCoy and we're going to make this barbecue platter, and we're going to have fancy pulled pork on it. We're going to have baked beans, and we're going to have coleslaw on it. And they made this big deal one homestand, and since I was running that concession stand, I was in charge of it. We made this nice plate that looked beautiful. And the price, this was back in the early 2000s. So the price, I think, was about $10 for this plate. The owner of the team, Ben Mondor, came up one game. The first game, we were about to debut this big new menu item, and he came up, and Ben Mondor, for anybody who ever knew the Paw Sox, very old school, old-fashioned kind of guy. And his claim for the Paw Sox was always to make it family-friendly and very affordable. So he came up, took one look at this thing, and he says, "This fucking thing costs double what a ticket costs. Get it out of here." And guess what was no longer on the menu? The barbecue platter.
Nice.
Wow.
So that's all the time we have for tonight, guys. I hope you enjoyed our discussions, and thanks for everyone who participated in it. We love to hear your stories. Oh, sometimes better than our own stories, right? So thanks again for listening. Dan, where can our listeners follow you online?
You can follow me online, not editing the 2 F-bombs out of this episode at DanLaw83.
That F-bomb was a big part of the story.
I know, that's why I messaged you on the download saying, hey, wrap up soon, and don't worry, I'll edit out that F word. But then you just dropped one for the story. I'm like, you know what? I'm
Wow.
leaving it in. I'm leaving that one in.
This
I just
episode
talked
is
about
rated
defecation.
PG-13.
I'll tell you what, though. That's going to be a highlight, and I'm very excited. This is the first one I'm going to edit since
He's
I have
excited.
I have certain people that I now work with that watch my social media account that I'm going to do the ads, the video clips to promote the shows with funny sound effects in place of the curse words that go through. So I'm actually very excited.
Nice.
I don't know if I'm thinking duck quack or dolphin. Find out at Danlow 83.
There you go. Hey, Mark, any stadium journeys planned for you? Where can our listeners follow you online?
Oh, you can follow me online at Ballpark Hunter on Twitter and YouTube. I have a channel. I have 790 subscribers. I'm trying to hit 800, maybe even 900 in the near future. I just hit some ballparks up in Purdue, the softball and baseball field. I have never been to a softball game, like a collegiate softball game. I had a great time. There's a story coming up. I just posted it today. I think that'll be up in a few weeks, so you can check that out. I'm not sure where I'm going in the next few weeks. I have some options. It's just waiting for this Indiana weather to agree with me. It's going to be cold and rainy again this week, so I may not be going anywhere. I do want to go down to IU to their ballpark, and I want to go to Ball State to their ballpark, but we'll see what Mother Nature says. So until that comes to fruition, just check out my stories on Stadium Journey, and go to my YouTube page. I got some cool videos there you can check out as well when the weather's a little nicer.
Ball State. Can't say that without giggling like a little stupid kid.
Ball State.
Ball State.
That's where David Letterman went, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Take a look at that.
Jim
Cool.
Davis is from there too, the creator of Garfield.
Oh, so that's why there's a statue of Odie and Garfield outside the
Yeah. I
Indiana
don't know if he went
State
to Ball.
Fairgrounds.
Yeah, I don't know if he went to Ball State. Well, they're there as well as I think they're the official mascots of Indiana Farmers. But there's that Indiana connection. Yes, yeah.
Nice.
Garfield is a Hoosier. Him and Odie.
All right. Dave, where can our listeners follow you online, and any stadium journeys coming up for you?
You can follow my social media, which distinctively lacks F-bombs, at Profan9.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't have anything specific on the horizon, so who knows? Got some obstructed views. We've been on an obstructed view hiatus, I think.
Because we couldn't see because we were obstructed.
Well, yeah. No, actually, it's kind of the opposite. It was that like I went places and had to start writing things, and then suddenly couldn't do video editing.
How dare you?
But yeah, so hopefully some obstructed views coming up soon. But follow that at Profan.
That's good because I got a lot of beers lined up waiting to go.
Okay.
All right. And you can follow my stadium journeys on Twitter and Instagram. And I do have a YouTube page too. I think I might have 3 followers. You can follow that at PuckmanRI. Upcoming trips for me. Hey, this weekend, doubleheader baseball game. Going to head up to the wonderful city of Worcester. And I say that with all sarcasm intended. Going to catch Holy Cross and then head on over to Polar Park and check out the Woo Sox. They play their weekend games at 4:00, which I love because it's ideal for making doubleheader trips. So
Yeah, that's nice. Thank you,
and
Booster.
we got a bunch of P Bruins games coming up as the AHL season winds to a close. Crazy, the AHL is here, guys. The regular season ends at the end of April. They will not be giving out the Calder Cup till the end of June this year. Nuts.
Yep. Memorial
Like
Cup, Calder Cup, Stanley Cup, NBA Cup.
NBA playoffs starting right now.
Well, that's like
they're
the
playing
East.
now.
Yeah, but they go until June anyway.
They do. They play one game a week. Yeah.
You can see hockey and baseball in July here in Indiana. It's
Great.
There you go.
You can
have the
you
rare
can triple
July.
header yourself some basketball, hockey, and baseball all at
All
once.
in July.
In June.
So again, follow me my adventures at PuckmanRI, where there's an occasional F-bomb, not too many. And remember, you can find all of our 2,500 stadium reviews, news items, and other feature stories at our website, stadiumjourney.com. Connect with us on our social media channels at Stadium Journey. Our audio versions of the podcast can be found at HIAC Talk Radio Network, wherever you look for your favorite podcasts. Video simulcast can be found at Stadium Journey's YouTube page, which you probably already know if you're watching it. And our classic back catalog can still be found at vocnation.com, and live streams happen every other Tuesday night at 7 Eastern at danlaw.tv. And in 2 weeks, our next live stream will happen. That's April 26th, for those of you keeping score. We will be discussing the reorganization of minor league baseball 1 year later. Should be pretty interesting.
Spoiler alert.
What was good? What was bad? What was indifferent? Thanks, everyone, for your support. For Dan, Mark, and Dave, this is Paul wishing you all safe stadium journeys and close games. Hope to see you on the road again real soon.